Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Minority Reports podcast and digital series. I am your host, Mona Sheikh. You guys, I am very excited to be here at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Friday. I've never done a live stream this early, but I'm very excited to be here. And thank you very much for tuning in. Hi, James. Always a loyal fan who's here come hell or high water. So I appreciate you being here. Very, very excited to have my very special guest today. You guys, I had my buddy Spec, who owns a record label in Dubai, and we were talking about this brilliant artist he brought up to me, and I immediately was like, I must bring him on my podcast immediately because he sounds amazing. And then I started checking out his work on YouTube, and I was like, oh, he's perfect. I have to talk to him. So this amazing Palestinian pop star has a brand new single that he just dropped today. You guys totally have to go check it out. I will include the link in the comment box. His the video that premiered today is for a song called Mascara. Here's the very talented Bashar Murad. How are you?
Good. How are you, Mona?
I'm good, thank you. I've been saying mascara so many times that I had to, I'm like, my brain went in like a pause immediately as I was trying to say it. But I am, congratulations. I'm very excited about your video. I've watched it 4 times already.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's crazy. I can't believe that it's out.
No, you were saying before you and I started talking, going live, you said you had this concept in your head for about 3 years, you said.
Yeah, I wrote on 3 years ago, and the idea for the video was with me very early on. Yeah. But this song was a journey for me because I worked on it on my own, and it's before I met Spec, before I got signed, before anything happened. It was a song that I had, and I always had faith in it, and I just felt like it was special. Yeah. And I even produced it and was gonna release it on my own, but then when Spec saw me perform it in Ramallah when he came for the Palestine Music Expo, that was the song that basically got me the record deal with Pop Arabia. Amazing. And it was supposed to come out like much earlier this year, but then we had COVID and all these kinds of delays. But it's finally out, and it just feels crazy to me. I still haven't really
processed it. Yeah, it's you're in a high. You're in a high right now. Bashar, I was reading I was stalking you on the internet, and I came across some information which really blew me away. Now, you were born and raised in East Jerusalem, correct?
Yes.
And that's where you reside right now.
Yep.
And I mean, for you, like, you come from a musical family. Your father started an alternative band called Sabrine, correct?
Yeah. Yes. So my dad. So I was born into a musical family, and to me, that's something that I always say. I'm very privileged and lucky to have that, because my dad founded a band called Sabrine in 1980, which was really the first alternative band in Palestine, which influenced so many artists even today. And I was lucky enough, born into the community or that environment. I was always going with my dad to gigs, being at the studio where I am right now.
How old are you, Bashar, when you're going to these gigs?
I was born into it. Like, I was born into the peak. I was born into the peak of Sabrine.
Yeah.
In 1993. Wow. So I mean, I just remember it like from age 1 to like 7. In 2000, that's when the band broke up. But so those 7 years, I definitely remember just being around music all the time and learning from an early age. Yeah. The importance of music and how I can use it as my own therapy, or like as something to put all this pressure and stress that we're born into here, and just
Sure. Bashar, I wouldn't know what it's like to grow up in an occupied territory. My my Palestinian brothers and sisters do. I really, and wouldn't nor would ever try to fake know what kind of pain and suffering you guys go through. I wonder, like, that level of influence that it has on you and your artistry. Do you feel like, the power of your music and the power of your art and other artists who reside in the occupied territory? Do you feel like it will eventually cause some kind of a culture shift and perceptions where there could possibly be some kind of a peaceful two-state solution where art would be the influence factor for that?
I mean, to me, that's my motto in life, and like my mission statement as an artist is that music and art are such an important tool for resistance, and especially today. I don't. For anyone who will see the video, I'm not. I don't advocate for violence. But I believe that you can, through music, you can make such a big change, because especially that's why I chose, and that's why I love to do pop music.
Yeah,
it's because it's popular music, and if you can reach the masses, but talk about important things and issues that are very important and happening all over the world, I think that's the future, and I think that's what's going to make the biggest change.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, when did you start singing? How old were you when you were like, you know what? I think I got this. I think I can do this.
I don't. So I'm always singing as long as I can remember. Singing the songs of Sabreen, but I was also very into Western music and pop music. So I was I loved Britney Spears growing up, and and like Shakira, but also like the big over the top rock stars like Freddie Mercury and David Bowie. And
you kind of remind me of Freddie Mercury, actually.
It's the mustache, I think. So yeah, I was just always singing along and like dancing along to Britney Spears videos. But I think when I thought, I don't know, when I thought that I can do this, like it took a while, because growing up, so I was this like very creative, flamboyant kid growing up, and people were like motivating me and encouraging me. But then when I reached a certain age, people started to like put me down and like, maybe think that there's something off about me, and like tell me maybe not to sing so loud, or why do you sing like girls or dance like girls and stuff like that, all these stereotypes that we grow up with, especially in like Middle Eastern societies. And so slowly that inner child started to die, or like just like become suppressed. And then I went to college, and I didn't pursue music because I didn't think that it would be, everyone was saying, no, there's so much competition. And why do you think that you would make it, but not?
When you say everybody, are you talking about family members? Are you talking about parents? Who are you talking about?
No, not. My dad was always very supportive because he went through this journey himself.
He knows.
Yeah, but he also knew how difficult it is as a journey. So maybe that's, sometimes he would like warn me about that and about the journey. But the people, I think, who were like, it was more of the society. Like I lived in a bubble at home. Before my mom passed away, when I was younger, I lived in a bubble. My family was very supportive. I used to dance. I used to put on dresses and dance for my mom and put on her makeup and but then when I would leave that bubble and go to school or walk in the streets or just go anywhere, like I always I got used to people like noticing that there was something different about me and criticizing it, and so I started to try to hide. And slowly that hiding changed who I am, because I became a person who like always suppresses these things. So yeah. But then I went to college and I studied communications,
Yeah.
and
What
came
college did
back.
you go to, Bashar? You came to college in America.
Yeah, it's called Bridgewater College in Virginia.
Got it.
Yeah.
And why communications?
Um,
Closest thing to music?
yeah, I think it was the next best thing because I knew I could use it. I actually started doing music in Bridgewater College, but it was like all classical music, and it wasn't exactly what I was looking for. So that's why I decided to change to communications.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I think helped me so much in my work, in the way I create my videos, and in my lyrics, and it taught me how to to get to people and to
Connect.
yeah connect. Yeah.
How amazing. Bashar, you said that your parents, both your dad was already supportive because he was in the business, but was your mom did she come from a musical background too, or what was her background?
So my mom, she does sing, but she was working in international water law here in Palestine. She had a PhD at a very young age. She did so much before she passed away. Yeah, and but she also did sing.
How old was she when she passed away? She must have been so young.
She passed away in 2009. She was 42.
Woof.
Yeah. It was a car accident. It was very surprising, and it was one of the things. Thank you. But it was definitely one of the things like that taught me how short life is, and that you should just like do what you feel like you want to do.
That's right.
Yeah, but yeah, so she did sing, and that's how her and my dad actually met. She was in a music group at her university, and he was the person in charge, and that's how they met, and they fell in love and got married. And yeah.
Wait, did he marry his student?
Well, yeah, but they're in college, so it's okay.
Got it, in college, right? Because you're of age, so I guess that's
cool. And he wasn't that much older, but he was like her teacher.
Got it. You already Bashar, you said something really key. You said that you were this young person that was flamboyant. You were wearing dresses. You were putting on makeup. Was that a thing for your family growing up, where they were just like, Bashar, don't put on dresses, don't wear makeup, or like them knowing that you were gay at an early age? Was that something that they knew, or like try to deter you from it, or are people around you somehow?
I don't know if they knew I was gay from a very age. Like, I think, because a lot of little boys maybe might do that, and then they sort of outgrow it.
Sure.
And so maybe that's what they were thinking.
Sure.
But for the longest time, it was actually fun. Like, they loved watching me dance and sing and like be creative, because they are creative people. That's but right. Then as I started to grow up, I started to see like they wouldn't say it out loud, but in their eyes, I could see like this hesitation or guilt, maybe, or and I think they were worried more for me, like from society, and because growing up, there was no one that I could look up to.
Sure.
In like Arab society, that was openly gay and out, and that said it's okay to be who you are. Yeah. That did not exist. So, and I always found it hard to talk about these things. So I never really talked to my parents about it until a very long, until I was much older. Yeah. So, I was just going through all these things alone and questioning myself and and for the longest time, I thought there was something wrong with me. I tried to turn straight and turn myself straight, but
don't do that. It's awful.
I know. No, I would never do that now. But yeah, I was younger and more foolish.
I think it's way more fun, I think.
I know. Yeah, definitely.
Being straight kind of sucks, I must confess.
Then just hop on over to the other side.
Hop on over to the other side. But trust me, Bashar, that thought has crossed my mind many times, given the horrible dating situation in Los Angeles. How awful it is, and how awful dudes are here. But yeah, I mean, I mean, as a gay man in Palestine, where do you are there gay bars in Palestine?
No.
Gay clubs?
There are like so there's like gay friendly places. Well, in the West Bank, it's in Arab society in general, this is a very taboo subject still.
That's right.
So in the West Bank, there are a few like gay friendly places, but they're not really public or like openly, gay.
When you say gay friendly,
places.
Are these restaurants? Are these
restaurants or like pubs or something like that?
Okay.
But yeah, so they're like people know, and they gather there, but it's not open and not publicly. Yeah, but
Right.
then if you go to Haifa, there the Palestinian community is a lot of the queer community does move to Haifa because it's a more it's a place that accepts more, and even like the Palestinians there they've reached a point where they can actually talk about these things.
They're more progressive.
Yeah, more progressive. Yeah, and I think it has to do with a lot of different things. Like when you're when you're in occupied territory. Yeah. How are you supposed to move forward with anything when you have someone that's constantly stepping on your neck? Like, yes. How are you supposed to move in any other way? And so it's a very complex issue. And even before, when you said that, you don't know what it feels like to live under occupation, but, to me, every Palestinian has a different experience and a different situation. So like me, a Palestinian living in Jerusalem has a much different experience than a Palestinian living in Ramallah or Nablus or Gaza. And so each of them have their own different scenario and issues that they deal with.
Right. Right.
And,
but you would confess, Bashar, that so I had Rula Jibril. You know who she is, right? Rula Jibril. Do you know who she is?
No.
Rula Jibril is a Palestinian journalist. She's a Palestinian Italian journalist. She's a huge advocate about for Palestinian rights. She's in America. She's pretty big here. At least for me, she is. I just love her to pieces. And she was on Bill Maher. Bill Maher, I don't know if you know who he is. He was a very big comedian that got his own TV show on HBO. And she went on a show and they got into a big fight because Rula was calling him out for Islamophobia and saying that he's very Islamophobic. Bill Maher is Jewish culturally, but I think he's an atheist, but he's Jewish culturally. And Rula was getting mad at him. And, and Bill Maher asked her, said, can you be openly gay in Palestine? And she said, yes, you can. So for someone like yourself, right, who better would give me a better idea of that other than you? Is that true? Can you be openly gay in Palestine?
You can be gay anywhere, I think.
Gay, but I'm talking about openly.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
You can be openly gay in Pakistan, Bashar. In Pakistan, you can't do that. You can't be openly gay in Pakistan. It's not acceptable.
Yeah, I think it depends. It depends. Like I said, each area has a different story.
Like you said, in West Bank, they're a lot more open, you said, or Haifa?
Well, Haifa, it's very progressive. It's the most progressive, I would say. But then, in the West Bank, there are so many different. Like Ramallah is, a lot of the artists. It's a very, it's a place where all the artists live and move and work and stuff like that. So there are places that you can go and, it depends what you even mean by publicly gay, because like a lot of people think.
Not publicly, openly gay, to be like, hey, so and so is gay, and it's just like, oh, okay, it doesn't bother my life. I don't care. Have a nice day. I don't care.
It differs from house to house. It differs from city to city. Like it's such a hard question to answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like even when someone says that, oh, in Israel it's okay to be gay, that's not even completely true. Because if you go to like certain places where it's like the more religious Jews, there it's probably not okay. In
Right.
Tel Aviv, it's more secular. So yeah. So
Sure.
same thing I think in Palestine. But
Got it.
but people love to make stereotypes and just say, oh, you can't be gay there. They would stone you. They would stone you. Like, you know, it's not completely accepted, and it's not something that's even talked about that much. But I think the question is, I don't think it's whether it's okay to be there, but it's to be gay there. But if there's something happening, or if there's a conversation that's starting, or if we are progressing at least, and I think that we are. I think, you know, a few years ago, no one was talking. There was just gay denial. Like if you look on social media, it'd be like, no, there are no gay Arabs. Gay, no, that's just a Western concept. Okay, but then slowly, over the years, you see like on social media, people from here, they're not denying it, but they started like saying, oh, these people just want to fuck shit up, and like, can I curse? I don't know.
Again, you can say whatever,
Okay.
sure. You can say whatever the fuck you want. How about
Okay,
that?
good.
You can use as much profanity. I have a dirty mouth. I've been actually being a really good girl thus far. So
Okay, good to know. So what was I saying?
you were talking about fuck shit up. You said, you know, it
Oh
was
yeah, they're here to mess things up, and these are the people that want, you know, this is their definition of freedom, blah blah blah. But then,
yeah,
you
that's
know,
exactly what comes to mind when it comes to freedom. Let's fuck everything, or
yeah,
let's
let's just walk in the street naked, and let's
Yeah.
all have sex with each other. Yeah.
Bashar, I can't with people.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is, we live with people, and we have to deal with people, and we have to figure out how to
Bashar,
make it or get to them.
listen, the pandemic has been, in a way, good for me. I get to spend all this time with my dog. I have a 5-year-old pit bull, and I get to spend time with her, and it's the best time ever. So, because I don't have to deal with this kind of idiocy that you're referring to, you know?
Yeah, but you know, yeah, on a day-to-day basis, like I don't like to deal with people, but with my music, I just feel like this is what I have to do, or like this is I'm like in a role. I'm playing a role because I am that role, and
Yeah.
and there's no one else, not a lot of people. I won't say no one else, but not a lot of people that are playing this role, and I just feel like I have to. I feel like responsible to. You know, because when these people that come out and like talk shit about gay people and queer people,
Sure.
but no one else comes
To defend them.
to defend, then that's a problem. But then when there is a visibility and there's someone who's coming and what's the word, like discrediting,
Being
yeah,
an
well, yeah, being an ally, or you know, being gay themselves,
Sure.
you know, and like this crediting like big, like what's his name, Bill Maher, what's his name?
Bill Maher, yeah.
Like his stereotype, like
Yes.
for the longest time I've been hearing these stereotypes that there are no gay Palestinians, they would be thrown off roofs, they all escaped to Israel, blah blah blah. But then all of a sudden someone comes and is waving, you know, wearing all pink and like pink camo and shoving a bouquet in the muzzle of a tank. I feel like that in a way shuts
Powerful.
it shuts them up.
Char. Yes.
Yeah, like my hope is that when someone comes up with this statement like, oh, Palestinians can't be gay, there are no gay publicly gay Palestinians, they can just send them that video or open that video and just shut them up, and we can move on to fighting the next stereotype.
Sure, absolutely. You know, this is so first of all, thank you so much for taking the time to even elaborate and even educate me, because honestly, like the stuff, like I haven't been to Palestine, I haven't been to Israel, not yet, but I plan on, inshallah. I definitely want to be there.
You have
I want to come. I so want to go.
And you will have to let me know. When you do.
Oh my God, I'm totally gonna let you know, Bashar. Yeah. I'm so there. But I'm so glad to hear this, because you know, you think about something like that and you paint everything with this broad brush and
Yeah.
just
And you just look
not-
like the
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, you're just like, well, I don't know. I don't know if I've been, I'm just going by what I'm hearing because I haven't actually visited the place. So this is like super helpful. What is Shabir saying? Gay strictly banned in all religion morally. Well, Shabir, you can go fuck yourself. With all
Wait, I
don't-
didn't see the whole thing. Oh, there are people commenting. Cool.
Yeah, people commenting. Shabir said that it's banned in all religions and morally it is not good to adopt. Well, Shabir, with all due respect,
Okay.
that's homophobic, and with all due respect, you can go fuck yourself. Don't come and talk shit about my gay friends and about my LGBTQ.
He didn't. Okay, cool. It's banned in all religions. Like, why is that relevant to me? Cool.
It's not relevant to anybody.
Yeah.
This is just ignorant speaking. Did you know that even in Islam, being gay is not banned? It's the hadiths that tell you that. It's not actual Quran. It's not in the Quranic preachings.
Yeah, and
even differentiate.
And even when they do mention, well, we're going to the Quran now, but even when they do mention like Lot, they weren't just gay, they were basically bisexual and they were raping each other.
That's
and
right.
Yeah, and so
you're talking about Sodom and Gomorrah. It has nothing to do with homosexuality. It has to do with how people were treating each other. That was the core concept of it. So let's not. Yeah, because straight people do such fucking great things. Take a fucking chill pill. I can totally tell he's Pakistani too. Well, fuck out of here. Sorry, Bashar. I grew up in New York, and the way we handle shit
I love it. I love it.
Is how I say it. Man, Bashar, I want to talk about your music video. They came out today called Mascara. Now, do you have you put out an album yet, or is this just like a single EP?
No album yet. It's all been singles so far, but this Maskhara is going to be the lead single of my EP that we're working on with Pop Arabia, which should be out by the first half of next year.
Yeah.
So yeah, it will be my first EP.
Lovely. I mean, that's amazing. How has been your journey? First of all, did you shoot the entire video in Palestine?
So 90% of the video was shot in Palestine.
Yeah.
We filmed in Bethlehem, in Jericho, and in Jerusalem. And the 10% which is the green screen stuff, we filmed it in Iceland last year.
Which is the green screen? I couldn't even tell what was the green screen.
When I'm flying with the balloons.
Sure.
When I escape.
Yeah.
And when I'm walking and the walls are behind me, like the mirrored image of the wall.
Yes.
The first chorus. Yeah, that's mirrored. Like usually, you don't really find like the path sort of thing.
Yeah.
So we just mirrored it.
And that was in what, Reykjavik?
Yep, it was the last year when I don't know when you were stalking me, if you saw my song with the Hattari, the Icelandic.
Yeah, I saw that. That was great. That was a great
BDSM anti-capitalist group. Yeah.
No, I love that video. That was a pretty badass video. Honestly, every time you came on, it just like, to me, the song just went to the next level. The Hattari song is great. It's great.
Yeah, I love that song.
Yeah.
And that whole collaboration really brought about a lot of good things, a lot of big things for me.
What big things did it bring for you?
Well, so there's a whole situation. When Hattari came to perform in Eurovision. I lost you for a second.
Oh, I'm here.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay. So
I was too still, and you were just like, I think I lost you. And
you were focused. You were focused. So they came. They participated in Eurovision last year.
Yeah.
Because, Iceland is. So last year, Eurovision was hosted in Tel Aviv, And Iceland is a very, pro-Palestinian country, and the people voted so that no one would go and participate in Eurovision this year. But the broadcaster of Iceland still decided to send someone. So Hattari chose to go, and they were talking the whole time about making a statement and that they weren't just participating regularly.
Got it.
And so before they got there, we met online because they were looking for Palestinian artists to talk to, and Israeli artists to meet and learn and stuff. And so we met on Skype a month before, and one thing led to another. We ended up recording a song, doing a video. And when they came, we even, I was a big part of the documentary that accompanied them. The documentary just started premiering in different places this year. And so, I went with them on this journey and took them here to places in Palestine, showed them different things, introduced them to different people. And eventually, they did raise the flag at the final of the Eurovision in Tel Aviv, which was a huge thing here in Palestine and in the world, I think.
Yeah.
And so that got me a lot of visibility and recognition and new followers, and especially the Hattari fans. They're very they're like cult fans. They're very intense. And so I sort of became part of the Hattari family or extended family. And so, and then it was also around a month after I met Spec. And so I think that was also, an important...
aligned. It was like...
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy how things just happen and work out.
I don't think things are crazy like that. I'll tell you from my own personal experience, when I've gotten really big gigs and how they just align and how easily stuff just comes, it's because you have already put in the work. You've already been doing the work.
Yeah.
So you're like, I don't know how you can believe in energies and if you believe in attraction, all that stuff. But we are all just energies, right? You're aligning your energy to attract similar energies. And to me, it's not shocking when stuff starts happening. You're just like, well, yeah, I've been working on it this entire time. I've been shifting my energy to align with what is it that I want. So I'm not shocked to hear that. When you went to Iceland and when you shot this there, I mean, you said that Iceland is very pro-Palestinian. Do you feel like if there were more nations, I know a lot of European nations are very pro-Palestinian. America still has to get on board with that. But that being
America fucked up for the past 4 years, or not America. Let's say Trump.
Trump did. I mean, Trump really fucked up. Like that shifting of, what he did in Jerusalem is just...
Yeah. He did so much. And he's still fucking up. He's going to keep fucking up until he leaves.
This motherfucker's leaving, Bashar, whether he fucking likes it or not. And there's prison waiting for him.
I hope so. But, it's like also as bad as he was, he's not fully to blame. Like the American administration has just been really
well, yeah, our foreign policies have been less than
stellar.
Less than stellar, especially when it comes to Muslim nations that don't have oil. If you're a Muslim nation that doesn't have oil to offer, America is really like, you can just get on the side there. We're not.
We don't need you. Yeah,
we don't really need you. You can get on the side there. So no, I totally get it. Now, Bashar, do you have siblings? Or are you the only musical child in the family, or do you have other musicians?
I have a younger brother. He's 7 years younger than me. He graduated from high school 2 years ago, and now he's going to performance art school here in Jerusalem. Yeah. So he's still discovering himself and going on the difficult journey.
And how is he with you? Is he supportive of you? Is he like, oh, I want to come and sing with you or perform with you? Like, what is his kind of ambition?
He's very supportive. When I first started performing, he would be the one sitting backstage and triggering my music and even though he was younger, 7 years younger than me, but he was a big part of me accepting or loving myself because when he was younger, things were a little different, and I influenced him a lot. I think like I would watch Glee growing up, and then I would have him watch it, and so that show, teaches you so much about like accepting the others, and that people are different and stuff like that. So when you have that,
speaking of sure. Sorry, go ahead, finish your point. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying when you have that at a young age, like the younger that you learn these things, the better, because like I learned that at a very older age, and so now I'm like coming into the person that I am. You know what I mean?
It's funny you mentioned Glee. The guy who played the principal in Glee.
Yeah.
The brown guy.
Yeah. I forgot his name though.
Iqbal. I forget what his character's name is, but he's going to be on my podcast next week.
No way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He's a
That's
fellow
crazy.
Pakistani. He's a fellow Pakistani from Karachi, just like me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
I met him on a set of this sketch we were shooting long time ago. We became friends. And then I was just like, hey, man, how come you've never been on my podcast? He's like, I don't know. I was like, let's get you on the podcast then. So it's funny you mentioned Glee. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
That's so funny.
I'm going to have Iqbal on my podcast next week.
Nice.
So that's so funny. My brother is the one who told me about Glee. I have 4 older brothers, Bashar. My second oldest brother, straight married guy with a kid, is obsessed with Glee. He told me about it, and I was like, what is Glee? And he goes like, oh, it's an awesome TV show. It's a musical. It's this thing and the dance. And I was like, oh. And then, of course, discovered Glee and fell in love with it. Bashar, what do you guys get pretty much all of, like, do you get all of Netflix that we get in America? Hulu, do you get all this stuff? What do you get?
I mean, now we do. It's more recent, but it's a different kind of, like the shows that share, the shows that air in the US, air much earlier there, so we get them a little bit later usually.
Are they edited? Are they like? Do they like blur out the kissing scene or the sex scenes? Or
I mean, if you're Netflix and stuff like that, no. But if you're like on like TV, like from the Middle East, some do. So it depends where they are. If they're from the Gulf, usually they do like take out some scenes.
We're not talking about Palestine.
No, Palestine. I mean, mostly either we watch on Netflix, which is not blurred or anything, or we just illegally stream stuff because we don't. I don't know. Like that's what I did growing up. As long as I can remember, that's how I watched Glee and everything.
Oh, when you say like illegally stream, like you guys have like dishes that you set up. That's what we do in Pakistan.
Really?
Yeah. And when we like align them a certain way, and then you catch the channel, and you're like, oh, I'm getting this shit for free.
No. Here, I mean, like just these websites where you can search for your favorite show and watch it on demand for free.
I see. How, for sure, isn't it sad in a way that we live, it's funny because when I'm in America, I'm just like, I take stuff for granted. Oh, I can just go on Netflix and I can just watch Hulu and, let me Venmo this money to someone and let me do, it's like stuff you just don't even think about because it's just part of our everyday life. And then whenever I travel, especially when I travel to Pakistan or to wherever, it is an instant reminder that we sit in a very privileged place in America, right? Even the poorest of the poor sit in still a lot more privileged place. I know some people might stop at me for saying this, but it's true. Unless you traveled to a third world country, which also some people get offended by, but I come from Pakistan, so I can tell you, unless you come from countries that don't have technology and are not really kind of up to par at what's happening in the 21st century, you really don't know how privileged you really are. Do you feel, Bashar, like when you were in the US and when you were going to college here, was that like a thought that went through your mind where you were just like, you know what, I don't want to go back, I just want to live here and just kind of build a career here? What was your kind of thought?
So definitely yes, the privilege thing and how simple and how there's a system there is for everything, in the US. It was something that I liked.
It's
But
easy. It just makes life easier to do.
yeah,
right?
but what happened is that by the time I finished college, I missed home so much that I wanted to come back, and I didn't even think about staying there. And I decided to come back, but then when I came back here, I was in a culture shock in my own home, because of like this adjustment where I was living in the US and everything was so easy and simple and systematic and stuff. And so yeah, like when I came here, that's when I realized how easy and simple life was there, and it took me such a long time to adjust to that. Like,
yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy to think that you would have, a culture shock in your own hometown.
But you do, Bashar. That's the thing I'm talking about, right? When I go to Pakistan, I grew up in Pakistan.
Yeah.
But when I go back, it's a culture shock where I see little kids sleeping in the streets. It's a culture shock. You're just like, oh my God, like why are kids sleeping in the streets? Like, this is so disturbing, like stuff like that. It really, honestly, when I go to Pakistan, I'm just depressed the entire time. I don't want to go home. I don't want to go out because it just kills me to see people in pain. It kills me. Like, I can't deal with it. But for you, what was like some of the biggest culture shocks when you went back to Palestine? Like, what was the thing for you where you're like, okay, I'm having a really hard time adjusting with this right now?
Well, just going back to like being more free in a foreign country than you are free in your own hometown, like here, I went back from like America and like this freedom, and then I came back to living under occupation.
Yeah.
And so that was a huge shock to me, because before college, I was in a bubble of like high school and parents picking me up and taking me and taking care of me. And I didn't have, a full understanding of what it means to live under occupation. But then when I came back after college, I started to understand how ridiculous it is and how crazy it is to be living this way, because for the longest time, it was just the norm. And it was just like, oh yeah, you have to cross a checkpoint if you want to go to Ramallah, or if you want to go to Bethlehem, or if you want to go to anywhere in the West Bank. It's normal to see soldiers walking around with big machine guns, or like army tanks or army jeeps driving down a suburban street. It was all normal. But then when I came back with fresh eyes from America and then saw it, it stopped being normal,
Right.
And that's a lot of things that people, sorry, just one more thing that people deal with here. It's that they accept it, and because they're so like engulfed in this way of life, and they don't maybe travel a lot, they just learn to accept it and learn that there is nothing better, and that this is the way life is, which is what is so sad.
Because Bashar, what else is the choice, right? What other option do you have?
Of course.
Get angry, you try to fight, like what do you do? Right?
No matter what you do, you're gonna get, you need to be in a place of privilege or a place of power to do something. I don't know, because here, like in Jerusalem, I can't go I can't go protest Israel, because if I do, I'll probably lose my ID. But
lose your ID, or possibly even get shot or get hurt.
Well, yeah, that too.
I was like, ID was the last.
No. If I lose my ID, it means like they kick me out of here and just like say, okay, you don't like Israel so much, go to the West Bank, go, because me as here as a Jerusalemite, I'm not a citizen of Israel. I don't have an Israeli passport, and I'm not a citizen of Palestine either. I don't have a Palestinian passport. I have an Israeli travel document that on the first page says the holder of this travel document is not a citizen of Israel. And on it says my nationality, not Palestinian, Jordanian.
What?
Even though the first time I went to Jordan was last year. So like, it's ridiculous. It's a whole mess.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I confused you.
I'm sorry. Why do they have your nationality or your citizenship listed as Jordanian, but you're not Jordanian?
So it's because before East Jerusalem used to belong to Jordan, and so when Israel annexed East Jerusalem in 1967, Jordan gave all East Jerusalemites like a temporary Jordanian passport, or a Jordanian passport, but you're not a citizen of Jordan. So that's why on our IDs, it doesn't say that we're Palestinian, because they don't even want to acknowledge that Palestinians exist. So it says Jordanian.
So if you reside in Ramallah, or if you reside in West Bank, do you have a
different situation? So this is my situation because I'm in Jerusalem and I have a blue ID. Those who live in Ramallah and the West Bank, Gaza, Ramallah, Bethlehem, they have a green ID. And that green ID means that you can travel within Palestine, within the West Bank, but you can't cross into Israel unless you have a permit from Israel, which is very difficult to acquire. So I have a lot of Palestine. So yeah, it's a lot of information.
I'm gonna need some coffee right now.
Take a sip.
Wow.
Yeah. So like I have a lot of friends.
That is complex.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends in Ramallah and Bethlehem who can't even come here. Like I have to go visit them.
So you can visit them, but they can't visit you because they need the special permission. And special permission is really hard to get.
Yeah, and because I'm in Jerusalem, which is it's Israel, it's annexed by Israel. So
right.
So yeah.
How difficult is it for you to travel to other countries, like come to America or go to Europe? Like, how difficult is that? You don't actually have a passport, so you're traveling on just a document. Am I understanding this?
It's a travel. It looks like a passport. Like you can get visas on it and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. It's called laissez-passer, which in French means "let them pass" or something. Yeah.
Why French? Where did the French come in?
Okay, I don't know. That's a good question. I should find out actually. But you have it depends where you're from, of course. Like, and also depends what you need to find an opportunity. Like, you can't say, "Oh, I want to move to America and figure it out. I want to find out what happens." No, from here you have to secure. If you want to go study, you have to secure a college acceptance or secure a job from here, which is extremely difficult. And it's quite difficult. But there are a lot of programs and organizations that do help Palestinians and help facilitate these things.
Sure, when you went to college in Virginia, I mean, it's very expensive. I know it's very expensive to come from another country to come to America and pay in dollars. But B, like, what difficult time did you go through just to come to America, just go to college? I mean, my goodness, what hell did you have to go through for that?
Well, I'm just gonna keep saying this. I'm lucky because I applied to this fund called the Hope Fund, which is run with an organization called Amid East, and what a difficult life. and so I applied to this fund and I got a full grant. Was that full grant?
Full grant, yeah.
Yeah, to college. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, but they got to choose the university that I go to.
Okay.
And that's how I ended up in Virginia.
Wow. What was it like for Virginia's conservative? So when you came to Virginia, I mean, there's a lot of like cigarette smoking, little redneck-y action going on
there. Yeah, cowboys and all that stuff.
Yeah, a lot of that. What was that like for you? You come here and you're just like, I thought I was going to Prague.
To America. I thought I was going to America.
What the fuck is going on?
This is not the America I saw on TV.
No, it's the backward America.
Yeah, honestly, the first day I cried.
Oh
I was shocked because I didn't expect it. I thought America, yeah, it's all the same. I didn't know that
Yeah.
there's different kinds of Americas. It was
It's the same, Bashar, like you just said. It's there's no one America, just like there's no one Palestine.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
a different bunch of Palestine. There's a different bunch of Americas.
Exactly.
And there's a different bunch of Pakistans too. One person, Shabir, again, talking.
Shabir. Yeah.
His goddamn mouth today. Let me tell you that, Bashar. He's running his mouth. He's like, we in Pakistan live more privileged. It's like, yo, take a fucking chill pill, dude. Listen, here's the truth. If you're wealthy in any country, you're living a life of privilege. I don't give a fuck where you live. If you got money, you live a life of privilege, no matter where you live. Yeah. We're not talking about the wealthy. We're talking about the middle class and the poor class. They are not living in privilege, not by any means, anyway, right? So let's just be clear on that. Shabir's on fire today, Bashar. Let me tell you that. He's goddamn fire, man. I don't know what kind of cocaine that Shabir's doing today. Like, Shabir needs to stop doing the coke lines. Like,
take it easy, Shabir.
Shabir needs to stop doing the coke lines. Sorry, Bashar, you were.
So yeah, I was. The first day was shocking. The first year was very difficult. There were I think 5 other international students in the whole college. It was a very small liberal arts college, and there were 2 other Palestinians actually that came through the same program that I came on, and so that was very helpful having familiar. Not really familiar, but familiar. And it was difficult at first because, people were confused. They would ask, who's that Hispanic guy that you're with? They would ask other people. I would say, this is funny. I would say, they would ask me where you're from. I would say, I'm from Palestine. They would say, Pakistan? I would say, Palestine. And then there would be Pakistan? I would be like, no, Palestine, where Jesus was born. Oh, okay. That's all they know. They know, Jerusalem, Bethlehem, and Palestine from the Bible. That's all. And
Bashar, did you point out that Jesus wasn't white with blue eyes and blonde hair? It was a brown dude. Jesus was a brown dude who was an immigrant.
I don't think I really realized that at that point. When I started college, I always saw him as a white guy. So I believe
not a white guy. I know Jesus wasn't a white dude.
I know, and he was Palestinian. He was Palestinian.
That's right. He was. Yeah. And let's be honest. No white dude would be able to survive that kind of heat in the desert. You know how many blisters he would have on
red. He would be red.
He'd be like a lobster. He'd be like a lobster. No.
Yeah. So, but it was interesting because over the course of 4 years, I felt like I made a lot of connections and friendships and people who at first were confused and were very, very, we're not having or listening to anything I would say. They became really good friends, and some of them even visited here, and so that was something that I learned, and that was very valuable. That that's I think that I credit this experience to how I approach my music now. It's that it takes time to get through to people, and people grow up. People have the people that I met in Virginia. A lot of them lived in Virginia their whole lives. They didn't even have passports, never traveled outside the United States.
That's right.
And so they were also in a bubble. And
that's right.
It's also weird of me to expect them to just understand all of a sudden. And so that's what gave me this strategy to get to people and to communicate.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. When you came and when you were going to college here, were you finally dating? Were you on some dating apps? Were you on Tinder or any of that? Was that a thing for you, or you were?
I was on dating apps, but no. I thought, when I left here, Palestine, because in Palestine, even before before college, there was no Grinder. There was no, Grinder, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Okay.
I live
So
in
there
one
was,
of the gayest neighborhoods in America, Bashar. I live in West Hollywood.
okay, I'm gonna come there then. I'm gonna visit
Oh,
you.
you so have to come here. We are so going to so many bars.
So yeah, before going to college, when I was there was no none of these dating websites, but no apps, and it was like very scary to go on them. So I thought I was going to America and I was gonna meet all these guys, and I'm gonna, I'm gonna meet the love of my life, and I'm gonna, I don't know what I thought. And then I got there, and I'm in Virginia, and like in Bridgewater, Virginia, which is like in the South even, and yeah, it was like it was a college town. Like it was just college students that lived there, teachers and old people. And so no, yeah, retired people, And so no, there was no dating. Yeah, and then I came back here and came back to no dating again.
Bashar, where do you meet people? Like, how do you date people? How do you even find a relationship in Palestine? And I think that applies to being gay or straight, I suppose. I mean, do you have like dating apps for gay and straight people? Like, or like places you can go and meet folks? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, there are dating apps. No, there's like either you meet them like at pubs or bars or gatherings, or through friends. That's how a lot of people meet each other, through friends of friends, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or there are apps, but like the gay apps, they're just, honestly, I don't like them, because here there are a lot of people who are, because it's a very taboo subject still.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people who are hiding. There are a lot of, like headless torsos. On the app, you don't see like their face. They're hiding their face, so they just like have a picture of like their chest or something, and it's like a very sketchy situation. So most of them are just like looking for immediate sex or something like that.
Yeah,
and it's just there. I think it's just for hookups. I don't think you can meet something.
There's no shame in that either, Bashar. No shame in that.
No shame at all. No shame at all. But not at all. But like that's. It's not for me right now.
Right. No, I can totally understand that.
And like, another thing about the dating apps is that you'll open it, and then you'll see all these people. Okay, they'll be from all over Palestine, from inside the West Bank, from occupied Palestine, Israel. So you can see them here, but doesn't mean that you can meet them. Because like if find someone who's in Ramallah and I'm here, they can't come meet me because they don't have, they can't. They don't have permit. They don't have an ID. Or like you'll see Israelis, like a lot of the time, like if I'm talking to like someone Israeli, I'm talking in English because I don't speak Hebrew. And then they're like, where are you from? I'm like, I'm from here. And then they start speaking Hebrew. And they're like, so why not Hebrew? And I'm like, I'm Palestinian. That's like the most common thing, the most common question I get, not just even on like dating apps, from other Israelis. Like I'll go and say, I'll speak in English. They're like, where are you from? I'm from Palestine. And they're like, you're from, I'm sorry. I'll say I'm from here. And then they'll say, you're from Israel and you don't speak Hebrew. And that's like their question. They think that, everyone here speaks Hebrew. They don't, like, doesn't cross their mind that there are Palestinians here. Like, there's, they just live in a bubble. And a question that
does that mean like, do guys ever are like, oh, you're Palestinian, all right, fine, I'm not gonna date you, or I don't want to see you now?
Some of them are like, they're like fascinated. They're like, there are Palestinians like this.
A forbidden fruit, baby.
Yeah, forbidden fruit. And then they're shocked. Like if I have an earring, like they'll tell me, no, you're not Palestinian. Or even Palestinians would tell me that I'm not Palestinian because I have an earring. What
does having an earring have to do with anything? I don't understand.
I don't know. People are stupid. It's like a stereotype. They think that
People are
only
stupid, Bashar.
Israelis put earrings or something. I don't know. Or like it's a Western thing, you know?
Like putting an earring on so then you're not Palestinian anymore?
It's like because like it's not part of our culture, you know, because it's something new actually to see people just like comfortably and publicly walking around with earrings, you know. And a lot of people, unfortunately, because of all these separations that we have, everyone is living in their own bubble and they don't know anything about the other. Include like and so there's so many stereotypes and so many misconceptions about each other, Palestinians, other Palestinians, it's about Palestinians, everything. It's a whole mess.
Yeah, absolutely. Bashar, is your dad actively also still making music? Do you guys like get together and you're like, we're gonna put out some music together? Like, is that a thing that you guys do?
Yeah, so now I'm at Sabrine's studio, which is so this is the studio where my dad basically opened after the success of the band. And he still does music. He composes music for plays, films, performances, dance troupes here in Palestine. And I've sung on a few songs for my dad, but we still haven't really. We're all like in our own bubble or in our own world. But after I write a song and I'm like in a good place, I feel like it's at a good place. The first person I go to is my dad. I'll go through with him like about the lyrics, if they all make sense, if they sound good, the music, and he's always like he maskhara, like he heard it 3 years ago and helped me a lot with it.
That's amazing. Bashar, do you have an album that you're like putting together now, or what's going on?
So it's an EP. It's gonna be called Maskhara, and it's gonna have 4 tracks, and it should come out by June of 2021.
Beautiful.
And I'm really excited. What's crazy is that the whole album or the whole EP was produced on Zoom. It was all produced online.
Wow.
Not just because of COVID, but also because the producer is based in LA. His name is Gannon, and I met him through Spec. And we've just been working on Zoom the whole album. Just like he shares his screen and opens up a studio session, and we work on it. And I think it's something that I'll always remember, you know, leading, because it led into the pandemic, and all of a sudden everyone else was, just went online.
Bashar, I'm in the creative world, you're in the creative world, but I'm always fascinated by songwriters and singers because I just don't have that skill set, right? I wasn't born with that. So I often wonder, like, what is your kind of process of writing a song? What's like your process where you're like, I have to take a walk and get inspired, or is it something that's like always that you already have 50 ideas that are always revolving around your head, and then whatever you're passionate about, you sit down and you write about that? What's like your process, creative process?
I do have a lot of ideas that I write down that are like bits and pieces here and there. But usually the songs that I end up releasing or end up becoming my favorites are ones that just come on the spot. Like Maskhara, I wrote Maskhara and then like 3 other songs that I released like 2 years ago, because I wrote them all at the same time. I wrote them all in the same week. Like they just came all of a sudden. I don't know how. And it's usually something that I've been dealing with for a long time, for years maybe, that I haven't been able to put into words. And then one day, the words just come out. Like Maskhara, definitely, because, Maskhara was inspired from like this feeling that everyone is looking for an escape, any kind of escape. Maybe it's through music, through art, through traveling, through reading, through smoking, through drugs, through alcohol, through partying. And I was seeing that to be very relevant here in Palestine, because everyone wants to escape, because we are trapped, whether we like it or not. And a lot of people end up escaping, through something that's in their head, not physically escaping. And so this goes back to the power of art, and like how it and music, and how it's like a form of escapism. But also on the other side, I saw a lot of people just like partying and drinking and doing drugs, and people from all different age groups. And so all of a sudden the lyrics came, and
that's amazing.
It's so hard for me to describe my process, because I'm trying to understand it.
I totally get it. I think for me, it's just like to me, like writing jokes or writing, because I'm a storytelling comic. For me, it's like a puzzle. So I have these ideas that come to my head, and then my brain starts solving these puzzles.
Piecing them together.
Yeah, it starts piecing them together. And then one day my brain goes, I'm ready. Write it down. I'm ready. Ready? I could be anywhere, and stuff just starts coming. I'm like, hang on. It's happening.
Slow down.
Hang on a second. But I think that's the kind of process you're describing. Am I understanding this correctly?
Yeah. It's so weird. Like for the longest time, I'll feel uninspired. I'll try to write. I'll try to do like exercises, and things will come up, but it's not the same as when, that idea that just comes on the spot. And sometimes it's not complete, and it is like a puzzle, but it just fits together very seamlessly,
Yes. It aligns. It's like an alignment. Alignment
like
thing.
the energy thing. Yeah,
that's right. Salim Alam has a question. He says, how did you come out to your dad? Was he understanding?
I never came out to my dad. He because I didn't feel like we needed that conversation. Because I didn't ever really come out. Like I just came out to a few friends, but mostly my coming out has been through my music and through articles that have been written about me.
Interesting.
So, because I slowly started to introduce this queer aspect into my songs. First, I was just doing like covers and singing about Palestine, but not even showing myself at all.
Yeah.
But then I did a video called "Kul Am Bajawaz," which is everyone's getting married, which means everyone's getting married, and it's social commentary about the pressure that we get from our families and societies to get married. And in the video, I decided to wear like different outfits, and so I was the groom, I was the priest, I was the waiter, the band singer, and finally the bride. And so that was the first time that I did something that hinted that I was gay.
Yeah.
And with each video I started, sort of like coming out, let's say, but without really verbally saying it.
Sure.
And my dad just watched it and he was like, cool. And that's it, The only thing that my dad has ever told me about is just like be aware that because it is a taboo subject, especially like if you look at, I don't know, like the what am I trying to say? Like, for example, the police of last year came in and shut down an event that was for queer people in Nablus, run by an organization called Al-Qaws, which means rainbow, which is the first Palestinian queer organization. And the police, they're very, I don't know if they're uneducated or what, but they went and shut it down. And someone random from the police station wrote like a press release online about how, they shut it down and that they're proud of themselves and that they will, and that if anyone finds something similar, they should report it. And so it feels like the younger generation is moving forward and progressing, but then you have the older and the like people in authority and the people in high in power, they're like
shut everything down.
Like they're stuck in the back or something, stuck in the past, Right. And so that's why that's the only time that my dad ever like told me, just be careful. You don't have to affiliate yourself with like certain things or certain titles or labels, because it could ruin opportunities for you.
Sure.
And I do think about that all the time. And I've heard, some people say, like, recommend that others don't work with me because of my sensitive status or situation. And but I've seen much more success and fulfillment by being myself and just not giving a fuck.
Good for you. Good for you, Bashar.
Thank you.
That is a very empowering statement, a powerful statement for you. I mean, that's really wonderful. Bashar, do you feel like I know you said what your art is driven by. So like, every artist, it has like this kind of core of what they believe and what their voice is, the voice. In comedy, we say, oh, what's your voice? And what you mean by is like, what's at your core? What's a topic that you're so passionate about, you want to talk about on stage all the time, like, and that's the thing you drill in. So for you, I know that you said your mission statement is about, making a statement about being Palestinian and talking about the kind of oppression the Palestinians live under. Do you feel like, is that the core of your voice, or do you feel like it expands into also LGBTQ rights?
Yeah, I think that's one of it. I mean, at the end of the day, I just want to share my voice and as a human before anything, before any label. But unfortunately, we grow up and we are born into these labels. So I'm Palestinian, I'm gay. These are my labels. And so to me, they're very important. And my mission, most importantly, beyond Palestine, beyond the queer aspect, which is very, very important to me, what I want is to create a space where a community, where people who are like-minded and who believe the same things and haven't maybe found others who do, or haven't found a place where they feel safe, or where they feel like they can be themselves regardless of all these labels. That's what I want. I want people to come to my show and feel liberated, and if I come on stage and address, maybe that will liberate them in some way. Maybe they don't have to come up on stage and address, but maybe that'll help them just be free, a little more free or something. So that's the most important thing to me.
Do you feel like you very well received, among Palestinians, and I would say even among Israelis, but among your own people, like among Palestinians, are people very receptive of you and your music and what you talk about? Is that how are you received? Like, what are or having like those kind of queer aspects in your music video? How is that all received?
I've seen overwhelming support that I never expected, and now, I'm looking at my phone, it's blowing up. I can't wait to go through it. But I've seen a lot of support from friends and from friends of friends and from beyond friends, people that I respect, and like artists that I respect, and a lot of them have they are part of this. They're part of where I'm going, and without them, I don't think I would have ever been confident to do the things that I'm doing now.
Right.
And there is a lot of negativity, especially online, that I get, but I think all the love really trumps the negativity, and that's what I'm paying attention to. And especially when I hear a message, or someone comes up to me and says that, thank you so much for what you're doing, and no one else is doing it, and thank you for speaking up about this stuff. That gives me so much motivation and drive to keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna start wrapping up, Bashar. So you said in June is when the new album's coming out, right?
By June, we still don't have a date, but we will have the information out as soon as we know it. But for now, everyone watching can stream Maskhara on all streaming services and watch the music video on YouTube, please.
Yeah, I've included the link here, and I'm included the name, so people should definitely go and check it out. Should definitely go support, leave awesome comments. That's what I was doing. I was kind of stalking you in the morning, Bashar. I think you're wonderful. I think
you're wonderful.
I love you. You're like just so. I haven't met you like personally, but I would like totally give you a giant hug right now.
Cyber hug.
Cyber hug. We're getting a cyber hug. Bashar, do you have other music videos that are going to be coming out for?
For now, Maskhara is the thing.
Focus.
Yeah, and it's been such a long journey getting there, 3 years. So we want to give it its time. We want to give it its justice. But there will be a lot coming soon, and there's a lot of old music videos that you can watch, like the song that I mentioned before.
I love Shila Kamal. That is a really good song. That is really good music video. It's really
one of my favorites too.
Fantastic. Yeah.
That was one of the ones that really started my career, I think, or got that attention on me.
It's so good. I love Shila Kamal. It's one of my favorites. I wanted to ask you, what American artists, or what not just artists in general, would you love to collaborate with and work with, and be like, oh my God, that would be such a dream come true to record with someone's artist?
I mean, dream come true would be Lady Gaga. After Britney, she was my obsession. After I grew out my Britney phase, Gaga definitely.
You were Lady Gaga's one of the little monsters? Were you one of the, let's say, you called her fans, right?
I used to call myself the biggest little monster. Yeah. But dead or alive, maybe Freddie Mercury if dead. That would be amazing. I'm working now with a Palestinian artist called Tamer Nafar, who will be featured on my EP, on a song that we're working on together also, which is a big deal for me.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What about Amar Diab? What do you think of him?
He's cool. I mean, he has some good jams, definitely. Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe. Yeah.
He's
pretty hot. He's pretty hot.
He is pretty hot. I covered him because I have a bunch of Egyptian friends, and they're like, oh, you got to listen to Amar Diab. I'm like, who is this guy? Fuck? Has he come from heaven? What is happening here?
Do you know what El Kfouri?
No.
He's a Lebanese singer, and he's like the heartthrob.
Oh, Lebanese.
I love him.
So hot.
Yeah.
So hot.
Yeah.
Lebanese, you look at Lebanese people, you're like, are you European or are you Lebanese? I can't tell. Beautiful.
They are beautiful.
So beautiful. For sure. I would totally be an Amar Diab group. I would be the one taking my bra off and pulling it on stage. I would be so utterly shameless about that. And his wife would be like, get this bitch out of here. Like, no.
She's
like, no, he's not. Lady Gaga, have you tweeted at Lady Gaga? Did you tweet Mascara at tweet Lady Gaga?
Not yet. But I've tweeted. I've thrown notes on stage for her. I've sent. She has a Born This Way foundation. It's like a charity foundation. I sent them an email, but not yet. But I think it will happen.
Yeah.
It will align, and it will happen.
Yes. We are putting it out in the universe right now.
Yes. Lady Gaga, please, if you see this.
Lady Gaga. We want Lady Gaga to be out there. So Lady Gaga is the ultimate. What about Beyonce? What about any of the other poppies?
I love Beyonce, but honestly, Gaga is top for me.
Gaga, I get it.
Just Gaga, because I have this journey of like when Born This Way came out, the song, that was a big deal. I was in Virginia. I remember that day I woke up at 4 a.m. to listen to it for the first time, and hearing those lyrics,
Wow.
And then hearing them on the radio, that was a new thing even for America, I think.
Yeah.
No matter gay, straight, or bi.
That's right.
And so so I have like this journey. I went to concerts, like 3 concerts, and and so definitely Lady Gaga. But I like a lot of the other pops, like Beyonce. Now there's a new pop girl. She's her name is Rina Sawayama. Have you heard of her?
No, you're introducing me to all these amazing artists. I have to check them out right after I hang up after you. So
Rina Sawayama, honestly, she's a legend. She's
what's her name? Rina? What's her last name?
Sawayama. She's originally from Japan.
Yeah.
But she lives in the UK. She's so cool.
What's her background? Is she Japanese?
Yeah, Japanese.
Yeah.
Also, Miley Cyrus's new album is pretty awesome.
Okay.
She just put out a rock album.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
Miley is so talented.
I love Miley. Her voice is crazy.
Oh, amazing.
Her rasp.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's so talented. She does all the crazy, wacky shit. I guess like that's just to make herself stand out from all the other white girls.
She's smart.
She's smart. But she is brilliant. Like when you sit down and you listen to Miley, you're like, oh, you are so freaking talented. Like she's amazing. I'm a big fan.
She has a feature with Joan Jett and Billy Idol on this album. It's really awesome.
Wow.
And Dua Lipa also. Dua Lipa's pretty cool. I want to
love Dua Lipa.
Well, her boyfriend is Palestinian, so maybe she'll see my video.
Well, you should tweet it at her. Did you tweet it at her? Good.
I had time. The video premiered, and then I'm doing this, so probably tomorrow. Awesome.
Yeah. Well, Bashar, we're gonna please everybody go and check out my friend Bashar Murad. Amazing music video that just got dropped today called Mascara. It's brilliant. It's powerful. Every frame has just something to say. It's so brilliant. The details are amazing. And Bashar, where can people follow you? What's your social media?
So Instagram is Bashar Murad Official. I'm on TikTok now also, Bashar Murad Official. And then Twitter is Bashar 2_ Murad.
Okay.
And I think that's enough.
That's enough?
And then all streaming services, Spotify, Anghami, Deezer, YouTube Music, Apple Music, whatever you want.
Got it. Bashar, we're going to bring you back on again soon because I feel like there was so much more I wanted to talk about. But I know today it's
so much information.
I know it's evening time for you. So I'm not going to keep you. But this has been a wonderful conversation. So thank you so much for educating me and educating us about what's happening in Palestine and introducing us to your wonderful music. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. This was really fun and amazing. And it was really so great to meet you.
Thank you. Same here, my friend. I will talk to you soon. All right. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That was the lovely and amazing Bashar Murad. Again, please do go check out my friend Bashar Murad's amazing music video out today called Mascara. It's on YouTube. You can actually listen to it, just like you said, on Deezer, Spotify, Apple Music, and all the other places. Not to mention, Bashar has done all these amazing cover songs for all these brilliant songs. So you guys got to go check it out. You guys, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do. It would mean the world to me. I'm actually doing 2 live streams today because I'm going overboard because I didn't do one yesterday because we had an online show. So I'm going to be back today, 6:15 Pacific, with Wendy Liebman, who is a veteran comic. And I cannot wait to talk to her. So come back in 6:15 Pacific. I will see you guys later. Have a nice day.